so many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so we gave Drayfrjg a call. Now they're bringing on the friends, and together they will view these. So sit back and relax. It's Twig's Missing Movies.
Hello, welcome to Twig's Missing Movies, a show dedicated to watching the movies that Twig inexplicably hasn't seen. I'm your host, Drayfrjg, and here is our cinematically clueless crow, Corvus Twig. Hello, Corvus. How are you? How's it been, buddy? It's only been about 2 weeks.
Don't call me cinematically clueless again.
I'm going to call you cinematically clueless every time.
What?
It's the most accurate definition.
I'm just gonna have to live with this, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. I mean, it's like a nickname, right? You can't choose your nickname.
I want a cool nickname, like
You don't get that.
Like T-Bone.
No, why would you want of all the nicknames? You T-Bone?
I don't know. I mean,
I can't call you C-Bone.
Well,
That just sounds weird.
Well, it's T for Twig. My name is Twig. Corvus is just my family name. They're like the whole Japanese thing where family names.
Oh, okay, I see. Well,
it's not family name; it's genus name. But
I hope you understand that when I say Corvus, I'm almost always explicitly talking about you. And Crockett knows this because I mean, how many Corvuses do we know collectively?
I know 3 others.
I know like 8 or 9, and you're the only one that gets to be called Corvus.
Yeah, I mean, your redeem on your channel is Corvus, and who gets
Corvus?
thrown at you? Just me.
Just you.
I need to give you an updated PN.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
of your new model, yeah. 100%. So we can see even more detailed feathers flying as you fly without wings.
We do love my detailed feathers. Look at them.
Look at
them.
them.
So beautiful. They're so beautiful.
Look at them.
I love my beautiful feathers.
I forgot if my toggle was turned on for this one. It's not.
The real mystery that is going to come out of this model is when my left wing is out, where does the twig go? Where is it?
It's up your butt, isn't it? Mighty suspicious where that just popped out of from behind your back. All I'm saying.
Why do I even do this stupid fucking show? I swear to God.
You invited me to here. This was your idea.
Hey, look. People are just like, oh, Drayfrjg. Why'd you pick Drayfrjg? I wanted somebody who could. Well, actually, I want somebody who could dish out the proper snark against me because it seems like it's kind of needed. But I need somebody who knows their movies. And
I do know my movies.
Dray does know their movies. And
one thing I'm very grateful for. I mean, I'm grateful for a lot from my parents. And the one thing that I am grateful for is that movies. My mom really loves movies, though she can't ever stay awake during them. And my dad has come to like movies because of my mom. My dad couldn't give 2 shits unless it was something cool like Star Wars and there's lots of explosion movements on the screen. My dad's much more of a serial TV kind of guy. He binge watched The Sopranos up till he rented them from the library and watched everything that they had available to them in basically 2 days. Over a weekend, because he's just like, this is so good, I need to consume it.
That is a missing TV show for me.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Damn, I would recommend it. Like, if you run out of TV shows, or if you get like bored with what's on TV right now, Sopranos is definitely one of them. The other one that my dad really liked was Band of Brothers, which is really just like 12 movies in a trench coat.
See, here's the thing with me is that I'm not really a big fan of mafia stuff or war films. So
well, that's fair. That's fair.
And okay, so don't worry, folks. I have seen Goodfellas and I have seen Godfather 1 and 2. So don't worry. I've seen, but you know what is on the list is Platoon. Platoon is on the list. Yeah. But you know, I may be cinematically clueless according to you, but I bet you I'm kind of the opposite. Where it's like I'm really big into music, listen to lots of music, and I bet I know a lot more about music than you do.
I'll give you that you probably know a lot more about older music.
Missing albums.
That probably could fill an entire other podcast. But I mean, my dad's a metalhead. My dad's a music lover. He grew up in a very strict household, and he always tells the story of when he bought his first. It was a Twisted. I believe he said it was a Twisted Sisters vinyl,
They're not.
and he
Yeah,
had to hide it. He had to hide it, and he could only play it when his parents were out of the house. And then one day, his mom found it, and his dad beat him because he's like, "What is this sissy nonsense?" But in blue collar union
and
speak,
and when it came to that album, they were going to take it. Yes, they were going to take it.
they did take it, and then from what I understand, my grandpa snuck it out of the closet and handed it back to him and said, "Just make sure you hide it better next time."
Oh, so they're not going to take it anymore.
No, they're not going to take it anymore.
Okay, good. Sure.
And yeah, so he was big AC/DC, big Twisted Sisters fan. Like, so I could probably do rock and metal pretty well.
Oh, how about Iron Maiden? Well, how much you know?
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right, best Maiden album. There are only 3 correct answers, but I want to know.
There's only 3 correct answers. That's hard, man.
Yeah. Oh no, there's only 3 out. Well, maybe 4, but.
Okay, I mean, I feel like it's easy to say Number of the Beast. I really like that album.
That is one of the 3.
I'm also a really big fan of Power Slave.
That's my favorite.
And then gonna get a little controversial and say that their album Invasion of Rarities had some gems on it.
Oh, that is a deeper cut. Yeah.
I
was gonna say Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is the other highly acclaimed album.
I like it. I mean, I really don't think they have a bad album. They have great albums.
Have you listened to their '90s albums where they didn't have Bruce Dickinson? Because
I said they don't have one, implying that they only exist with Bruce Dickinson. Dickerson.
It's Dickinson
because he dicked him over.
Yeah, he rejoined the band and
he came back, but like there was a period there. You know, Metallica has Saint Anger as their one bad album. Ugh. Iron Maiden had like 3.
Yeah, but
all right.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about
we're
music.
not here to talk about music, are we? No. Twig, I think today is going to be rather magical. This movie, given to us by our radical outer space friend Luna Miura, was released on November 19th, 1982. Produced by Arthur Rankin Jr., Jules Bass, and Masaki Iizuka. This rather dour children's G-rated movie is one that has given many children an existential crisis. And for many, was probably their first glimpse at the concept of extinction. Featuring an all-star cast, including Mia Farrow, Jeff Bridges, Robert Klein, Angela Lansbury, and Christopher Lee. Soundtrack made by Jimmy Webb, aided by the American and London Symphony Orchestras. The movie follows a female unicorn in her journey to take on the malevolence of inevitability. I am, of course, talking about The Last Unicorn.
Spoilers.
I feel like none of that is like spoiler because it's in the name.
The malevolence of inevitability, did you say?
Yeah.
Damn. That's a hardcore term. I didn't know.
I think people forget that I can write.
I didn't know who was in this movie.
Yeah.
But you said Christopher Lee and
yeah, Jeff Bridges, Christopher Lee.
I love Jeff Bridges. I love Christopher Lee.
Robert Klein, Mia Farrow, Angela Lansbury. That's just some of them.
I mean, there's some legends.
Keenan Wynn, Paul Frees, Rene Auberjonois, Brother Theodore, Edward Peck. Auberjonois or
Odo? Get Odo's in this movie?
I don't know who Odo is.
What the fuck?
Do I need to leave?
I can't believe Dre has never watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Wait. Oh! Fuck! I forgot his name is Odo. Yeah. I have seen Deep Space Nine. It was one of my ex-girlfriend's favorite Star Treks. And it's probably one of my favorites too. Just because okay, we're not here to talk about Star Trek. Yeah, we're here to talk about this movie. We're talking about this movie. We're talking about unicorns. Cartoon unicorns.
This ain't My Little Pony, I think. I don't know if it has guessing it doesn't.
This is definitely
the art
not.
style is very different than My Little Pony. Any of them.
So it's I've seen it once in my lifetime. Um, and I'm excited to rewatch it because when I watched it, I was dating. I was 15, I think, 15 or 16. So I couldn't really digest what the movie was, right? That intro I gave you was based off of comments that my ex's father gave while we were watching it. Um, but that line of malevolence of inevitability was my line. I wrote that.
Oh wow.
I'm very proud of
It's
it.
good. It's a good line. It's a good line.
Um,
I thought
yeah,
that was
I
like the name of like a being in it, because I mean,
so
should we get on to the
I
overall?
want to give you this one factoid to give you an understanding of who the studio is. They worked on Frosty's Winter Wonderland, The
Okay,
Hobbit, 1977,
know that
The
one.
Stingiest Man in Town, The Return of the King, 1980, and then Rankin and Bass, who are part of the production team, were later hired for Nausicaa: Valley of the Wind.
Fascinating. Which
That
is
is who is
actually
working on this movie.
which Nausicaa is one of the few Miyazaki movies I have not seen.
It is a beautiful movie, and I hope someone chooses
I
it.
mean, it's a Miyazaki film, so
Yeah,
I mean,
true,
I have a
true.
feeling at this point we should just get through. I think there's like 4 or 5 Miyazaki or slash Ghibli movies that I have not seen. I've seen most of them, but there's a couple that I've still missed.
That's fair.
And
So
I do want to be a completionist when it comes. Because let's
I
see,
get you.
it's like okay, I want to be a completionist for Ghibli. Guys, can I become a completionist for I? There's only 2 Pixar movies I have not seen. No, wait, there's 3, and all of them have cars in the title.
I mean, the Cars movies are good. They are fun. But if you weren't like a kid when they came out, I feel like they were harder to watch. Or if you didn't have a kid, they were definitely harder to watch. So it's okay to miss those ones. If you're gonna miss them, I think those ones are Cars 2 and 3 you could miss. Cars 1 kind of unforgivable because it's really good. But with all of that in mind, Twig, the funnest part of our little pre-recorded bit, what? Why haven't you seen this film?
I guess. I mean, part of it is that it came out before I was born, so you know.
So you're old, but not that old.
Yeah, I mean, it came out. You know, I was born in '85. This came out in '82, so it was a little
This is
before
true.
my time. And I guess that like in the in the social groups that I was in growing up, this was not one of the movies that ever really got brought up, and I don't think I even really ever heard of it until college. And then I guess I just never got around to seeing it. You know.
I will say that it's definitely a movie that slipped under my radar until I was like 15. And I think it was definitely a product of this looks like a movie for girls.
Yes,
You
most of
know,
the people I know who really, really love this movie are women.
or yeah. Um, so it's like, it's acceptable to a degree to have not seen it because it wasn't in your social circles, I think. Um, Especially if you grew up when it like around when it came out, the decade after it came out and stuff. What do you know about the film?
Basically what you just said. So I know it's about a unicorn. I know that it's a fantasy setting, and I'm gonna assume based off of the title that it's about the unicorn who is the last of her species. And honestly, that's of what I can say. I know. No, that's all I know. The cast that you mentioned. I mean, basically, what you just told me
Yeah,
is what I know. And
that's fair. I mean,
yeah,
again, if you hadn't interact with it outside of the women in your life, you're probably not going to know much. Most women that I know that like to go, oh, I love that movie. It's great. It has a beautiful soundtrack, beautiful visuals, and then nothing else.
yeah.
But then they're like, and then they get very wistful. um. Okay. So next part.
Did you
Next
say
part.
next
Not.
fart?
No, I did not.
You
I
said
said
next
next
fart.
part. I meant to say part. I said fart though. I'm embarrassed. What do you think will happen in this movie?
All right, it is time again for Twigs movie predictions.
Yay!
Yay! Okay. Okay. Uh, my predictions. Okay, I think that okay, I think there's gonna be some like human or hobbit characters. So like, a normal person meets and befriends a unicorn. I think that's pretty
I feel like that's pretty tame. That's
pretty
pretty
safe.
baseline. That's pretty safe.
I'm gonna say that there is an evil sorcerer who wants to use the unicorn's magic.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then, uh I think that at some point the evil sorcerer kidnaps and is about that's too many is about to kill the unicorn to steal her power. I can type good when I'm talking out loud and interacting with people. I am going to say that the humans rescue her. I can type. But I'm going to say that in the end, a unicorn sacrifices herself to save the world, and then unicorns go extinct.
Okay. Interesting choice.
Those
Interesting choices.
Those are my predictions.
Okay. I think these are good predictions. I think they are.
Yeah.
That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means you need a total of 3 to be correct.
Yeah.
To get a passing grade. How about that? We'll come up with a better metric. We'll circle back. We'll pin that. We'll circle back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, now it's our time to go and watch the movie. We'll see you in a short bit.
Yep. I'll be right back. Hello, everybody!
Hello!
Whoa!
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Are we waving? Hi.
We're waving now.
Oh, we're waving. Hi.
Those who are capable of waving are waving.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to another wonderful episode of Twigs Missing Movies. As I stated in the pre-recording session, this is our wonderful, radical alien friend.
Radical.
This is Luna.
Luna's pretty radical.
This is your host, Corvus Twig, and myself, Drayfrjg.
Drayfrjg.
And we're here to.
It's a very
movie and life and love and extinction and aliens and ask Luna what her favorite Iron Maiden album is.
Yeah, let's start off with the hard-hitting questions. What's your favorite Iron Maiden album?
I have never heard Iron Maiden music.
Have you ever played Guitar Hero?
Nope.
What?
Wait.
And I'm fired.
All right, you're out. Well, get out. Get out.
I'll see you guys later. Thanks.
Hey, get back here. This popcorn ain't gonna eat itself.
Well, you guys get popcorn. I didn't get it. I didn't get popcorn. Where's my popcorn?
We need to get that.
You and Drayfrjg have to share that bucket.
You don't want to do that? I licked the popcorn.
He got his Corvus spit on it.
Actually, there's no spit on it. It's just it's weird to
look at. Well. So, Luna, for anybody I don't know, why don't you tell my guests a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, hello everybody. Most of you in chat probably know me. My name is Luna Miura, and I am an alien in a meat suit, human-shaped meat suit. I do not. While I do not have as fine a raven, I do not have raven hair. No, well, pun intended. But it's dark enough. I think we can. I think I can.
Wait.
I can hang out with. Yes.
Can we summon your familiar right now?
You can, but I don't think it won't show up. Unfortunately, it's because of the. I could try, but I don't think it's going to show up. It'll show up for me, but not for you. Like I can see it on my end.
There I am. I'm right there.
Oh, there you are. Oh, it is.
Okay, this is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
Now there's too many birds.
Too many enough birds.
Well, now it's oh no. Now it can technically be a murder. I mean, I know
Yeah.
because it couldn't be a
Yeah.
murder with.
Well, no, because a group has to, okay, so it follows the rules of an orgy, right? It's a twosome and a threesome, but once you have four, it's not a foursome, it's an orgy.
So I just meant the crows. I didn't mean me and you. That's why.
Well,
Well, whatever. It's fine. Yeah, because also multiple, two crows and a raven is not a murder.
Yeah.
Even
Now it.
it's
even by your logic, 3 crows and a raven wouldn't be a murder.
Yeah.
So we've achieved nothing so far, is what you're saying.
Ow, ow, ow. Okay, now we've got more crows. Ow, ow, ow!
Ah! Missed me. You missed me.
Ow!
I have a peanut.
That was not a peanut. That was peanut.
That was peanut. Anybody want a peanut?
Ow,
A peanut.
Oh,
Okay. So,
I have a peanut.
ow! Okay.
but yes, I mentioned at some point during some stream about something about The Last Unicorn, and then Corvus immediately said, "You should go talk about that on my Twigs Busy Movies, because that's a movie I haven't seen yet." And I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So
And
it is one of my favorite movies. It continues to be long since childhood one of my favorite movies. It is also one of my favorite books. It is based on a book. I actually watched the movie before I read the book, and I loved the movie more after I read the book. It was one of those rare situations where while they are different, they are both good. So
interesting.
that's another reason why.
Are they so
I really-
different that it's like, they didn't do anything right from the book? Or
Oh,
is
no.
is it like How I Trained Your Dragon? How I Trained a Dragon? How you train your dragon?
How to
that
Train
movie?
Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon? Fuck.
You noob.
The worst part is I actually really like the movies, but apparently they're nothing like the books.
The books are what the books the reason I think why it works is because the screenplay for the movie is written by the author of the book, so that helps, I think.
Yeah, that definitely has an
what's
impact.
missing from the movie is basically character development stuff that basically just makes your heart break a little bit more for each of the characters that you love anyway. But it doesn't affect your ability to enjoy the movie or the story. There are things in it that are missing, but I don't I can still appreciate the movie and enjoy it without those things. But maybe it's because I've read the book, so I'm like my brain fills in the gaps that aren't there that the viewer who hasn't read the book would just not miss. But yeah, I think that I highly recommend reading the book too. I don't think it will disappoint you. Like you won't be like,
the
oh
book
man.
is 950 pages long with small print. I mean, it's practically War and Peace.
It's like 40 pages. It's really little. No, it's
Okay.
not that short, but it's like 100 pages. It's really a short book. It's a quick read.
Also, Hasio has just pointed out a glaring problem on the poster about how Schmendrick is clearly behind the unicorn, but the giant bull is somehow in front of her.
Well, see, graphic design was that person's passion.
Listen, we all make mistakes, right?
Well, the Red Bull is also ephemeral, so perhaps the Red Bull can be in two
Good
illogical places at once.
Good word.
I get that.
So when was the first time you watched this movie? Do you remember it?
I don't know exactly how old I was, but I have for the first time I watched it, but I was probably younger than 10, so I'm gonna guess probably 8 or 9 was probably the first time I saw this movie.
And was it like you watching like, oh, this is my new obsession. I must have everything from it and consume it.
No, I mean, when I watched it, I loved it. But it was also when you watch it as a kid, it is much scarier. Like there are parts of it as an adult where you're like, this is a little uncomfortable. But then as a kid, you're just kind of scared of it a little bit. So I think it was unsettling. But I loved it because because from the quote unquote girly aspect of it, I loved unicorns. So I think that as I got older and once I read the book, I learned to appreciate it a little more and more slowly over time. The parts of it that were a little beyond surface level, appreciated it. So it probably became an obsession in like early college is when I kind of rediscovered it, and then was like, oh wow, yeah, this is great, and read the book, and then it became kind of an obsession. So. And then anytime somebody asks me, what's your favorite book? Or what's your favorite movie? Usually it's when they ask me my favorite book. This always comes up on the list of favorite books. Because it just is. It's just so good. And what I like to tell people is that it's people kind of like, and we started to touch on this before the stream started, but like guys tended to not know about it or tended to avoid it because it was, oh, clearly for girls because it's about unicorns. And what I wanted to stress is that this is not like a fluffy, flowery, girly book. The movie is a little bit more girly, but like the book is very dark. I appreciate both the book and the movie because they're not. It isn't a clear-cut happy ending, and it isn't sweet all the way through, and it's not like really. It's not like all of these characters have like some deep shit going on. Some they've all seen some shit. And so
you think?
yeah, and so I think that it's really I think that anybody who likes high fantasy would enjoy it regardless of gender or what, or I don't know,
When you
gender
say high
expression or whatever.
fantasy, you mean like not low fantasy, not but definitely not the drug kind of fantasy, because that's what I felt like I had to be on to like really appreciate some of the
High
graphics.
fantasy, you could be high, but high fantasy like dragon, like just hard, like just straight up dragons, castles, knights,
dragons,
unicorns,
I was doing a bit.
magic.
I'm doing a bit. Look at me. I'm the epitome of high fantasy over here.
Rated G for gratuitous revenge murder.
I mean, I have to say, we could talk about like the visuals in this film, and the visuals were, I mean, the backgrounds clearly, like the backgrounds especially, there was some really
background
great
painting
artistry in the backgrounds.
It's like doubly impressive because this was at a time when there wasn't really digital art, right? So everything there was hand drawn, hand colored, and like I don't know, there's a certain amount of charm that comes with hand animation that you just don't get in digital stuff. Like everything is too clean. I think I've complained about this before in animation these days. Everything is too clean. There's not enough scuff.
Particulate. There's not enough particulate.
Yeah, there's not enough particulate. There's not enough like mess ups or like goofy interstitial scenes anymore, right? Like there are some movies where you can stop the scene in between two specific frames, and there's like some goofy little thing that someone tossed in that the human eye wouldn't be able to perceive.
Well, those transitional animation frames are actually really important, and they even use them in 3D animation. Like,
oh, I know.
Like, especially like not all of them, but like if you watch like the new Spider-Man movies, there's some crazy still frames that do smears and
100%. There's like there like anytime that there's like that the like his spider sense goes off, you can freeze the frame for like 30 frames and have a different art piece every time, and it's insane.
But this also had, I mean, you're talking about scuff, but like a lot of this had the classic Rankin and Bass rotoscoping animation.
Yep, we love ourselves some Rankin and Bass. Lord Grade, that crazy bastard who threw money at
I have seen all the Tolkien Rankin and Bass movies.
Oh my god.
And watching this, I was like, yep, same people made this one, because we got a very distinct style of animation and musical numbers by contemporary bands.
I just lost audio.
You just lost audio? We can still hear you.
Hello?
Luna can't hear us. Uh-oh.
Hello?
Well, hopefully Luna will be able to get back in here soon, but Dre and I can talk about it, so like that was interesting.
Okay, sorry. My headset just is fucked up. Sorry. I can hear you now.
It's fine.
Sorry, guys.
I'll edit that out. I won't edit it out.
Don't edit it out.
In there forever.
Nope. It's important that people know how bad I am at this.
Hear you. He's only on your end.
Yeah. We could hear you.
We're saying it's just like Rankin and Bass was one of their things is their style of animation, but also having like contemporary soft rock songs.
Yes, America.
A lot of it. We had the band America, who is I like a bunch of their songs. You can do magic. You can have anything that you desire. Magic. Yeah, that song actually probably would have fit well in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It would have definitely had a place. I think what it felt like to me was like in Rocky Horror, how like we have all these like rock songs, and then there's I almost said Eddie Van Halen. That's not who it is. Fucking Meatloaf coming out and doing his song, and that's that is quintessentially what it just kept reminding me of the entire time. And they would bust out into like a soft rock song or something like that.
Well, half of the music in Rocky Horror, when with the first half of the movie, I'm like, God, instrumentally, this music sounds a lot like Meatloaf's instrumentals. And then Meatloaf shows up. I'm like, oh, there he is.
There it is. We called it.
Well, I mean, what do you call that style of rock and roll where
Power
it's just
ballad.
like it's very power ballad, but also I guess is that it? Just like because also
It's
have used the piano.
That's all he's saying was power ballads.
Yeah. But then, like in this movie, all the music was just. I mean, it's like America's style of rock and roll, where it's very acoustic, and yeah.
And I guess I like what I liked about this too is that while I do love me a classic Disney movie where the characters sing a song, I do like that none of the characters broke out into song. Well, actually, no, I'm a liar. I totally I'm a big liar. You know why I forgot about that? Because I'm trying to forget it because what's his face his voice is so bad, and they couldn't afford. Jeff Bridges' voice is so bad.
Yeah.
It hurts. I mean, Mia Farrow isn't doing her justice either, but like, that's probably the only part about the movie I don't like is that song. Yeah, song sequence.
Disney learned that you don't always necessarily want to have the voice actor be the same singing voice, and they had a lot of like, in like Aladdin, the person who voiced Aladdin was not his singing voice. Same with Jasmine. Yeah. Although Robin Williams did belt out that song because I don't think they could have.
Right.
No, I mean Robin Williams is also just a really good singer too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing is a lot of times.
All things considered.
Oh. Yes.
All things considered on NPR.
All things considered on NPR.
But that musical number was not my favorite part of the movie.
No.
It made me cringe. I'm not gonna lie. It made me cringe. Like when you're at a musical in high school, at like a high school production of a musical, and you're just like, who let them?
It's secondhand embarrassment. It's secondhand embarrassment. But like but beside from that, like the amount, like you were saying before the stream started, Twig, that the amount of big names that do voice work in this movie, like you'd think that they had some amazing budget, that they had some unlimited
budget went to getting Christopher Lee. I'm not gonna lie.
But I mean, like. Jeff Bridges wasn't as big of a star back then as he is now.
Not yet, no.
Rene Auberjonois, obviously he's pre-DS9, and that's the only part of his career that matters. I'm sorry, I don't actually made that. I mean, Angela Lansbury and Christopher Lee are probably the two biggest names in this movie at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is like this, when Christopher Lee's character finally showed up, it wasn't as big and booming and powerful as a voice as I come to often expect from Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm. No, it was much more, I mean, to the characters, I guess, to the characterization, much more brooding and, I guess, emo. It's very emo.
Yeah. But, it's definitely like a dirge almost.
He did the German dub too. That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I love Christopher Lee. He was so good.
Yeah.
The fact that he got into metal and put out a heavy metal album in his 90s.
That's pretty cool.
It's like
I think people give up after a certain age and like I'm too tired, and then Christopher's like, no, I'm just starting. I'm
Fun fact about I think it was about 10 or 15 years ago. Now it's been scrapped, but for a while there was, I don't remember what studio had the rights to it, but there was a studio had the rights to and was working on pre-production for a live action version of the Last Unicorn, and it was in pre-production for a couple of years, and they kept having setbacks and kept having couldn't find different reasons, budgetary issues and stuff, and finally the whole project got scrapped. But before that happened, they had secured Christopher Lee to return as King Haggard.
That would have been great.
Would have been great awesome if they'd finally followed through, but then I think the rights got returned to I don't think it belongs. I think the movie rights belong to like Warner Brothers or something, but they haven't done anything with it yet.
Oh, Warner Brothers ruining things with their ownership of intellectual property. I never would have guessed.
Surprise!
Guys, it's okay. They own it. They can do whatever they want with it. There's absolutely no cultural or historical record of merit that are tied to them. Okay, so
And the
you have
author
to,
of the
you have
the
to let
book,
them throw it out.
Peter S. Beagle he had to come on online and tell everybody like, hey, stop sending me letters about how mad you are about that. I don't have anything to do with it. I sold the movie rights years ago, and they got got transferred and retransferred. He's like, I have no control over it anymore. Like, I get to have all the book stuff. I don't get any of the movie
All
stuff.
all I've learned in the last my entire life is don't ever sell out. And not like, oh man, you're a poser, you sold out. Like, no, really, don't sell out, because whatever you've made is just going to
Will be
go to
destroyed.
waste. Yep. There is
Unless
no
you get a great sponsorship deal from Drayfrjg Insurance, then sell out.
Yeah.
Then you sell out. Then you get to
Sell
own
out
not one but
with
two
me,
studios.
oh yeah, sell out. With
I
me
can't wait
tonight.
to.
The record company's gonna give me lots of money, and everything's gonna be alright. Sorry.
I can't wait to sit on everything that Twig has made and do nothing with it, and then never make
Yep.
physical media of it, and then toss it out for some tax cuts. Hell yeah!
Who
Capitalism.
owns the intellectual rights to Bird of the Day?
Me.
The individual birds that appear in themselves.
Nope.
Nope.
You would think that, but nope.
I have to look up this bird again. There's a bird at our local zoo, and I had never seen or heard of it before, and I think it's called. I'll have to look it up, but I think it's called a hammercop. Is the name that's coming to the hammercop? It's hammer something or hammer coat.
Is this like
hammer...
RoboCop's like pre-industrial brother, Hammer Cop?
It's related to I think it's related to a shoebill. It looked like it, but I have to look it up again. It was
do love a
funky.
good shoe bill.
We love shoe bills.
I'm still mad that I can't. There isn't a shoe bill VTuber.
I know, right?
Yet.
Very upset.
Okay.
You would think that would be a thing.
Look. So some of you may not know, but there is a bird VTuber Discord channel that Drayfrjg started and has we're at like 250 right now or something.
No, we're at like 229. We've had some people.
That's still a lot of birds.
That's still pretty good. I was in the ballpark. But like, how many are corvids? How many are
last
parrots?
time I asked the Vault to check, it was like 33 out of the 229 were corvids.
Let's say, like, okay, over half of all bird species in the world are passerines, and if you remove corvids, I could only think of two bird VTubers that were passerine themed, and that was Jason Finch and Agilias.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're not now we're getting off on tangents talking about birds. We gotta talk about this movie.
Tell me what you two.
All right, so like,
what did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Tell me everything.
You're stealing my questions. I have a form.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I didn't realize how much level my participation was supposed to be.
Scenes that really stood out to me.
I'm kidding.
The scene of the the carnival of the captured animals and using the magic. That scene really stood out to me, and the releasing of the harpy attacking.
That was grim.
The titty tree. We
titty
can't
tree.
We can't get through this without talking about the titty tree.
We gotta talk about the titty tree.
Gotta talk about the titty tree.
I mean, I was, I wouldn't have said no.
Look, when I first saw the tree in the movie, I'm like, that tree looks like it's got a big dump truck ass. And Dre's like, just wait. I'm like, oh, it wasn't a dump truck ass. Dems was titties.
I would build a nest in those branches.
I would nest there for a winter.
Then the skeleton that was like guarding the clock and got drunk.
Yeah.
That guy really stood out.
Yes, wine. My favorite thing. How did you know? Let me get drunk now.
Like those
I would
say those are like the things that stand out the most in my memory. The climax felt a little rushed. There's a lot of interstitial parts where, like, a lot of the punchline just kind of moved slow, just like slow plotting thing. But it was fine because like the music was good and the visuals were nice.
The plots. I feel like they lose the plot a few times throughout the movie. and they pick
Mhm.
it back up eventually. But they definitely like a product of the '80s, where it's like, we have like some side plots going on that we want to pay attention to, but we don't actually want to pay attention to them. And then they're like, oh, we gotta actually like wrap this up like in the last 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also forgot it's supposed
I
to
can.
have the slides of the movie going on in the background.
Yeah, this whole time.
Oh, there you go.
People
Oh,
don't know
there's
what
the
we're
titty
talking about.
Yeah,
tree. There
there's
should
Titty
be.
Tree. There's Titty Tree.
There's titty tree. That some of that may be because of what they had to cut, what had to be cut out. Like, because where it ends in the movie isn't where it ends in the book. There's a little bit that comes after that, but but I don't know that it. And also, there are a lot of side plots that are luckily cut out for the movie, but it looks like they had a hard
They
time.
cut out Tom Bombadil.
They cut out Tom Bombadil, and I think they had a hard time stitching the other pieces together without having those bridges, not Jeff Bridges, but the other bridges to keep those scenes together. But yeah, I could see that. I think that is probably also like when you say like the ending was kind of rushed. I'm gonna bet that that's also probably a product of. I bet there were some budgetary constraints toward the end
We're
of
running out of budget, so we had to do the
production.
best we could.
Schmendrick's
Yeah.
more of a sorcerer than a wizard. I would agree, and especially the wild magic. He's definitely a wild magic sorcerer.
I love his story, the way that it is elaborated on in the book, and I'm not going to give it away because y'all ought to read it. But
Don't do this to
um,
me.
well, I don't know how much am I allowed to ruin
I
for
mean, I'm
people?
probably not gonna go read the book. I'll be
Oh,
honest.
okay.
I'm
Well, he has he
I'm tits deep in 2 other novel series right now.
tits deep. You have
Tits deep.
tits. I mean, I'm sure you know some
I
tits.
mean,
I
yeah,
have
great tits,
230
tits,
birds.
long-tailed
At least one of
tits.
them has
Great
to
tits.
canonically be a tit. But also, I do have tits. I'm a agender shapeshifting bird. I have titties. I'll do what I want with them.
I didn't see him reading a bunch of books, but he's just got the Oh, I'm just reading Cannon Fodder. Cannon Fodder's comment. No, but it's like the only character. So all the characters that are in the movie have these a little bit more like backstory in the book because books are better for that anyway. But yeah, there's a portion that's missing. There's a side story for King Lear, Prince Lear that's missing, but that's not a big deal because he sort of his purpose is to show up as a love interest and kind of move the plot along. Um, but even then, like I think I like every single character in this movie for something, not for different reasons. Like my favorite character is Molly Grew, and she's one of my favorite characters from books, films, period. She's actually the only character that I've ever cosplayed as for anything.
Really?
Like I really, truly,
Who was Molly Grew again? Was that the lady they picked up from the traveling band of people?
Yeah, she's the wife of the leader of the rogue
Yes. the
bandits.
Rogues Gallery.
Did she just like up and leave
Who are
him
like, hey,
completely?
look, it's
I'm
Robin
still
Hood and his
confused.
merry men. Let's just follow them.
Yep. Nope, she just up and left. She just up and
And-
left. Her story is, they indicate, they like the way that they hint at it in the movie is so good. And then you just never, unless you read the book, you just never although in the book they don't really like go into too much detail either. So her backstory is kind of a mystery, but they hint at like a sadder backstory for her. But I really love her character. I love how feisty she is. I love her design. But yeah, she's a pretty simple cosplay as well, so that's probably
Yeah.
why I also chose to do that. But
You had the
Yeah.
hair for it, so yeah, all right.
at one time, yes, I did. I used to actually, my least favorite character used to be like I didn't like I liked the unicorn until she turned human. Then she started to annoy me when she became human.
Yeah,
for a while.
I kind of got that too. She was just
Mopey. You know?
Guys, she was forgetting who she was actively,
Right.
and in
Yeah.
a body she shouldn't have been in.
Yeah.
I feel like you get a right to mope when you get transformed from a magical being into.
I know, but
a
like I
human.
don't know, just the whole doe-eyed, I'm helpless. Oh, I don't know anything. It's just
Right. After she'd been kind of like super proactive the whole time, like I'm just gonna go find my
Yeah, it's
people.
like,
I'm just gonna find out where they
don't
are.
release the harpy. No, I'm gonna do it anyway because it's the right thing to do. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I guess, yeah, maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe they were going for like, oh, she's becoming more and more kind of useless because she's losing her identity, so she's losing her
Which is why Jeff
personality.
Bridges' character loved her, because isn't that what a
He's
guy
getting
like this?
isn't it? Isn't it just? I even like Prince Lear. He's kind of a dope. He's a little bit lost, but
I
kind of
love him in
lovable
the.
still.
He's like the himbo. He's just like
Yeah.
he's the Andy of this movie.
He's definitely
Hmm.
sheltered, but yeah, I knew he was
It's
gonna be.
sheltered.
You see, I knew he
Insofar
was gonna
as
be a good guy from the moment I saw him, because he's drawn attractive, because the evilness of a character in this movie is directly proportional to how physically attractive they are.
Yes.
everyone knows this. This is the Fable rule, right?
Yes. These are the tropes of attractiveness.
Yeah,
Everyone knows that if you're ugly, I'm sorry, but you're evil.
yeah. I mean, that's yeah. It's I mean, so much of this movie very much is a product of its time. It's a 1982 movie, and
Mm-hmm.
um, but it's just the thing is they don't make movies that look like this anymore, and I kind of wish they did,
No.
because it's not like the technology isn't there.
I mean, even the
It-
first we kind of touched on it a little bit, like the opening sequence where it's just them panning through the forest,
Yeah,
and they're
the
using, I don't
rotoscoping.
remember what it's called. Is it where they're sliding the layers of this of
Yeah,
the
rotoscoping.
that's what it is? Oh, I thought rotoscoping was just tracing over the
Wait.
Yeah, rotoscoping is
film.
tracing over
Yeah,
like
rotoscoping is tracing over. I forget the name of the technology. Hold on.
But I don't
chemistry.
remember that. It's yeah, where they have the layers of the background, but they're all but they move them like they physically
Parallax.
move them. Parallax is that other the glass window thing? Yeah, yeah, the parallax. Where they're like actually physically moving the layers of trees and bushes so that it looks like the whole scene. Your camera is moving through the scene. I love that. I love that whole intro just for
The
that
These two
reason.
multiplane
guys.
camera. I love
And
how
then
there's
we
Robin
had
Hood.
that intro scene that fucking butterfly.
Okay, the
I
butterfly
know
is
he's supposed to be like funny, but I just found him annoying.
so
Yeah.
the problem with the butterfly is that the butterfly is so is as a child, I didn't understand the butterfly till I was in my 20s and I had finally read the book and finally rewatched the movie and I was like, "Oh, I get it now." Like it took me watching it like 10 times and growing up and reading the book to finally realize, "Oh, I get it now. He's not I kind of get it." So they say it a little bit in the movie, but unless you're if you're a kid, you're not going to pick up on it that the butterflies are just they're traveling bards basically and they pick up poetry and songs and things bits and snippets not entire things and so all they can do is repeat them they can't even really talk to you they can only repeat those things to you and so all that does is make that opening sequence incredibly confusing and
Yeah.
Mhm.
obnoxious.
Well, it does tell us that it's somewhere in this ancient medieval fantasy world there is a civilization that has advanced technologically enough to have trains, because he talks about catching the train at one point.
He quotes Shakespeare.
And he quotes
so
Shakespeare,
It has to
so
be
it's
after Shakespeare was
it
around.
has to be after Shakespeare.
which was, well, I mean, what was Shakespeare's? Was he 1600s, 1700s?
1600s I
Six,
think.
15,
Did we ever
1600.
see Hunters again? We don't ever see the Hunters again, no.
No, don't see the hunters again. But also, like, Robin Hood is a legend that exists in this world.
Right. Mm-hmm. Which is sort of yeah. So it's this weird. It's
It's this weird amalgamation of
like time.
yeah,
Time.
yeah.
It all coalesces because of magic.
mm-hmm.
It's magic. It's its own world, but
It's one of those intersections, where a little bit of everything seems to seep in.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny because the author of the book, The Last Unicorn, this is he has written other books, and apparently his other books are excellent. And I have never read any of his other books.
Hmm.
And what's funny is that like he's talked about in interviews how he wrote The Last Unicorn and he was proud of it, but he said I don't think it's nearly my best work. He's like, but now all of my appearances, all the things I talk about or I'm asked to talk about, it's all to do with The Last Unicorn. So it's got to be kind of weird to be like, but hey guys, I have this other stuff that I feel like is much better if you guys want to check it out.
I mean, isn't
Oh, but
that
I
the
was
case with so many artists that become famous, where what they're most famous for is not necessarily what they consider to be their best work?
yeah. I guess it's just like they it's just whatever catches the
The
zeitgeist at the
public.
time, I suppose.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of that, and then it's always a little bit of like, what's accessible to people, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, sure, you wrote something that you think is better, but if the vast majority of people don't find it accessible or easy to approach in any way, it's definitely not going to be as popular.
And he for 30 years he said people bugged me, wrote me letters, write a sequel, write a sequel, write a sequel. And he's like, I'm not writing a sequel to The Last Unicorn. I'm not doing it. He's like, it is a complete story. It's done. There's nothing to write about. And I really respected that. And then finally he said, okay, I'm gonna write. He wrote a collection of short stories, short fantasy stories, and within that collection of short stories is a story that is tangentially related to The Last Unicorn. It takes place in the same universe, but it does not directly involve any of the characters. And he said, "This is the closest you're getting to a sequel." It's like there. So I was like, I can respect that. I can respect that. So, um, but yeah, it's a
Now,
great book. I highly recommend it. Great movie. Although it's probably like I acknowledge that it's not like it's good for its time. It's one of those movies. It's a good movie for its time. It's probably it's very cheesy and probably eye roll worthy in a lot of ways now. So I like I probably love it mostly because of nostalgia purposes. So,
mhm.
but
Now you
I
had
still recommend
mentioned
it.
that the version we watched was likely not the original cut.
Yes. So
Explain.
I will never let this go. And it doesn't the thing is it's not really going to matter because it doesn't change the story, but so in um so in the 80s when people made children's movies in the 80s, you could get away with a lot more in the 80s than you
Like
could
Harpy Titties.
like harpy titties or like in like all the swearing that you hear in like the Back to the Future movies and stuff. Like those are G-rated films, but there's a lot of like adult content technically in those movies. So in this movie, there are certain portions of certain lines of dialogue that are cut out. So it only really amounts to about maybe 20 seconds that's been chopped from the movie. But it's all parts where the various characters swear. And the only reason, of course, is they re-released the movie on its 25th anniversary, and they're like, we got to clean this shit up. So they cut out some swear words, they chopped it up a little bit, plugged it back together. And I know this because I bought a DVD because the only version I had was an original VHS version of it, and it was kind of getting worn out. So I'm like, I should get the DVD. So I got the DVD of it, and I watched it, and I was like, what the fuck? What did they do to all these lines they chopped up? And so I was a little bit upset. So then I took my VHS and I got one of those machines where like you can put a VHS and like burn what's on the VHS to transfer it to a DVD so
Mm-hmm.
that I could have the original on DVD and like it last a little longer. And so the reason why it bugs me is maybe because it's the tism. Like I maybe it's a touch of the tism, but it could also be
Isn't
that
touch.
yeah, I think that it takes away some of the power from some of the emotion in some of the lines that are delivered.
I
They
guess
cut up
having the prince say, "Damn, bitch, you fine as hell," when the unicorn
right.
shows up. Yeah.
Damn, bitch. Show me them titties.
What them titties do?
Good that ass. But yeah, and then I think they shortened the scene with the titty tree because they were like, this is too many titties. This is a little much. They're like, let's cut out like a little bit of the titty so that it's not so titilicious. But they didn't cut the whole scene. Because if you cut the whole scene, I guess you could have cut the whole scene out and but it wouldn't have, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So I say that because it's very hard to find the original version unless you've already had the original version from a previous VHS or a previous recording. So, or if you
Release
had a
the
DVD.
director's cut. We
That's
want the
right.
Snyder cut.
We want the swearing. We want the swearing and the titties
And the buttholes. Wait.
and the
that's
butthole.
ass.
Wait, Cats. Oh my god.
Well, should we get on to?
We should get on to your predictions.
All right.
Oh yes.
Yes, let's talk about those.
What? Why isn't it? There we go. Okay, so a normal person meets and befriends unicorn. When I said normal person,
Ableist.
Schmendrick counts. I'm gonna give myself this one.
No, I would say Schmendrick counts, but also Molly Grew counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evil sorcerer who wants to use the unicorn's magic. No.
No, he doesn't really want to use it, but...
Actually, I think that counts because King Haggard wants to sequester all the unicorns into the ocean for himself, so that he's the only one that gets to enjoy them. So he's not an evil sorcerer, but he does want all the unicorns to himself.
So
and use
we'll
their
make
magic
this one
for his
yellow,
own,
maybe.
his own
purposes.
But if you feel like that's too off track,
you specifically said evil sorcerer wants
but I would think it counts. It's like mid count.
It's yellow.
It's
yellow.
half points.
It's half right. It's half point.
Half credit.
Okay.
Yeah. Evil sorcerer kidnaps and is about to kill the unicorn to steal her power. No, not really.
No, they break in.
He's not trying to steal their power.
No.
He's just trying to hoard it.
I thought it was a thing like he was like cutting their unicorns off their head and like would use their horns as magic or something. Kind of like
Because the evil sorcerer wants to use unicorn's magic. Well, no, because I guess she wants to use the unicorn, but she
As an
provides the
attraction.
horn.
She's more of a Baba Yaga than a sorcerer, more witch than sorcerer, and there's a distinction there that's important that you know exists and why it exists.
Because I think that she knows that people can't see unicorns unless she puts her magic spells on the unicorn. She's just sort of using her for money. So she could have picked any horse or any deer and put a magic spell on her.
yeah.
So
Instead
I don't
she
know if
decided
that
to get
counts.
a unicorn that people couldn't see the unicorn's horn, so she added a second fake horn that people could.
Mm-hmm.
We've all had a two-horn situation before, all right?
All right, the humans rescue her from the evil sorcerer.
This is kind of another half correct
half
because
point.
they do try to like Schmendrick does try to like convince her to turn back into a unicorn so that she can do her job, do your jarb, follow your destiny, do what you set out to do, and she just wants to like be a human forever and be sad and doe-eyed for the whole time. So I think that's
Maybe get myself a yellow on this one.
give yourself a yellow. I'd give yourself a yellow.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Then the unicorn sacrifices herself to save the world, and unicorns go extinct. Literally the exact opposite of what.
Literally
The opposite.
Well, okay, so when the movie is called The Last Unicorn, and Drayfrjg talks a little bit about extinction, I didn't think I did. I was like, okay, she's going to end the movie as the last living unicorn, or she'll be like, or there will be. I did not expect all the other unicorns, because okay, I'm just going to say it. She was not the last unicorn. At no point in the entire time was she the last unicorn. All the other ones were still alive, still existed. They weren't gone. They were trapped, but just because everybody else is imprisoned doesn't mean you're the last one.
You're the last functional.
If you the last free unicorn, but
the last free unicorn. They see that doesn't roll off the song. It doesn't make it a good song.
I think the naming convention works because for the entire movie, the other characters believe that she is the last one, that the other ones have all been killed off, and that's why in my intro I said it's a glimpse at extinction personified.
But honestly, I didn't get big extinction vibes from the movie. I mean, kind of, but
I don't know what
the
fuck you think extinction
when she's first heading out on her journey. But then everything else that happens just kind of puts that by the wayside.
There's a moment at the end where she's debating not turning back into a unicorn again, and Schmendrick does his whole spiel about. And she'll grow old and then die, and there'll never be unicorns in the world again. And there's that moment where you're like, oh, fucking shit. then you realize technically at the moment there are no unicorns in the world. Functionally, there are no unicorns. And so there is actually a period in the middle of the movie in the movie where there are no unicorns. But then she becomes a unicorn again, is the last unicorn again for like 2 minutes, and then all the other unicorns come back. So I don't know. I think the naming, like, because like Dre said, people think she's the last one, and so I think
clever
that it still counts.
titles. I gotta hand it credit to authors who can come up with clever titles for books and chapters that lead you down a path of wrong thing in the entire book. Um, like I've been reading the Red Rising series again for the third time recently, and the second book's called The Golden Sun, and you would take the sun spelled SON. So and you think it's about the entire time you think it's about one character, and it's just so cleverly done. So I think Last Unicorn befits this movie as a name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Read
fine.
Red Rising.
I just made nitpicky. It's fine. It's fine.
See some interesting thing that gets left out of the movie that I think is worth mentioning because I think it adds a lot to his character is that Schmendrick is supposed to be in the book and in the movie it doesn't really like he comes across as like a 40-year-old guy.
He's like a teenager, isn't he?
In the book he's like in his 20s or he looks like he's in his 20s. And his whole thing is and the reason why his relationship with the unicorn is so awkward and weird is because he's on and like why his whole goal is to become a quote unquote real magician is that he is this he's actually in the book supposed to be like 900 years old or something ridiculous like that. And he's been cursed by his teacher, he's like a novice wizard, and he's been cursed by his teacher to say, and this is all in the book. He says, "You will never be a true magician until such time as," and then gives them the stipulations, and then he says, "You'll know you've become a new magician because you'll start to age. Finally, so until you start to age, you're not a real magician." And so he's supposed to be like act and behave like an old man, but he looks like a young man. And I don't know why that is a bad thing that he looks young, but what he doesn't want to look young. He wants to be a real magician. He wants to have real power and real, experience in life. And so, I just thought that was an interesting part of his backstory.
Yeah,
they
because I very much got the impression both on how he looked and acted that he was late teens.
Right?
Yeah.
See, he always gives me the impression that he's like kind of because he's supposed to be kind of a bumbling idiot. So he's sort of naive and goofy, and I just thought he's just like he just looks like the way he's drawn makes me think that he's like in his 40s, but just me. But he does act like very kind of immature and naive.
Yeah, I feel like somebody been around for hundreds of years would act very differently than Schmendrick does.
Yes. And that's kind of part of it. Like he's in the book, I think he's a little bit more he's still kind of an idiot, like he still screws up spells all the time, but he's a much more serious character in the book. Like he's a little less awkward. He's a little bit more just kind of, I don't know, just a little bit more serious and more intentional with what he says and does. So it was an interesting characterization.
Yeah, indeed. So, unfortunately, Corvus, you did not meet the threshold of 3 out of 5 correct predictions.
No.
So this is a failed prediction on Corvus's part.
Does that mean we have to eat him now?
This is well, no, well.
No.
I hadn't considered that as an option. Hey,
well,
Corvus, get over to
consider it.
Crow meat is very stringy and tough and tastes
I need you to stand next to this boiling kettle real quick.
No.
You're lucky. I'm full on popcorn, so you're good. You're safe.
We don't put blackbirds in a pie. It's a very offensive nursery rhyme.
Schmender did a good job at the beginning of his scene by saying just a white mare. Oh yeah, he does give hints about he does like subtly he has these moments of wisdom and smarts that are supposed to hint at his backstory that they never actually are able to go into in the movie because budgets and also because it would be a really weird tangent.
Actually, I'm like 900 years old, but instead of being a fucking lolly character in an anime, it's a 900-year-old man in a teenager's body.
Wikipedia says Lear.
This is a Twigs missing movie first. This is an incorrect prediction list.
Okay, it's bound to happen.
It's our first.
It's a first.
Congrats! You lost your first.
Congratulations.
It'll be interesting when we get to movies where I've never seen them, but I know a lot about them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like how everybody keeps telling me to watch now I can't remember the name. Die Hard. I'm supposed to watch Die Hard.
You can live the rest of your life without seeing them. Really, I think.
Disagree hard. Die Hard's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Well, it's been nice, guys. Good luck with that. See ya. No.
Look,
No,
it's fine to not have seen Die Hard, especially as a woman, but it's.
Wow.
Whoa. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
In front of the audience, huh?
He's just upset because I beat him.
Yeah.
I defeated him.
Yep. You did it.
Yeah, you defeated
You're the bird player.
I've cornered him. Corvid fight.
Fight. Corvid fight.
Okay.
Corvid fight. Corvid fight. Corvid fight.
Fight.
Corvid
Fight. 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 Fight.
You got one more question to ask.
Yeah, I do. And it's one of my favorites. Are you glad to have watched the movie?
Are you glad? Are you glad?
I thought the movie had great visuals.
Mm-hmm.
It was imaginative. I thought the voice acting was not so great. I thought, I'm going to put it this way. So I'm sorry, Luna, but I didn't really care for the movie that much. I found it kind of boring at points. Parts of it were a little eye-rolly, and I'm not saying that it was a bad movie. It definitely wasn't a bad movie, because let's just be, I've seen some bad movies. It's competently made, but a 39-year-old crow seeing it over 40 years after it came out, it's just, it wasn't for me. And yeah, it could have stayed a missing movie, and I feel like I wouldn't have missed out on a ton.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. It's just
don't be sorry.
It's another Twigs missing movies.
This is another first. We're losing our cherries today, guys. We're losing
That's okay.
Cherries.
I more for me. I get it. I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea. That's why when I tell people, when I finally go on a tangent about how much I love it, and then I stop talking for a minute, I realize how I've really built this up. I've really put a lot of getting people really. I've built up the hype, and they're going to be really disappointed.
I get it as someone with the autism and the ADHD who marvels over things that people don't find as fascinating or as interesting. I get it.
Look,
no, it's okay.
I can appreciate it, and I can appreciate that it means a lot to other people. But yeah, just and maybe if I'd seen it when I was 6-7 years old, would have liked it a lot better. But sorry, wasn't for me. So
no worries.
It's
More.
It's what it is. Yeah.
Well, here you. So we've got a couple of firsts then, eh? Couple of firsts for this episode.
Well, we're only on episode 3.
Yeah.
So...
Hey, third time's the charm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to watch a movie, and afterwards, I'm going to say, "I'm sorry, this movie was a piece of shit, and I hated it." I'm not saying that about Last Unicorn, but
I want you to watch a movie that you can't finish. Like you have to. I want you to say I got halfway through it and literally didn't want to waste any more time watching it, and you stopped it.
Well, unfortunately, in Twigs Missing Movies, that's not going to happen. I will watch every movie that is selected in full.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Somebody's picked Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, no. Those are my people.
I'm going to put the longest Bollywood movie I can find on that list.
Okay, but I love Bollywood movies, so do it.
I love them.
Dre, have you seen RRR?
Actually, I haven't.
Okay, so if we ever do a Dre's Missing Movie episode, we might need to have Luna back on for that one.
I'm saving RR to go watch it with my friends from college when I go visit them in October, because they wanted to watch it with me, because that was one of our weekly college rituals. Was we'd sit down, watch One Piece, and then a Bollywood movie while having
nice
ice cream. one of my favorite lines from any Bollywood movie is your love is like a milk full of a chest full of milk, and we're still trying to decipher what the fuck that's supposed to mean. And it like we are every time we're like, love you like a milked chest, everybody, you want it? And we paused it. We had to call my friend's dad because a lot of my friends in college were Indian, and like we had him listen to the lyrics. He's like, yeah, they're not talking like boobs. They're talking about like a treasure chest,
Like a treasure chest, yeah.
like a treasure chest full of milk. And we asked him what he means. He's like, I don't even fucking know.
Look, Indian movies, you don't think about them. You just sit back and enjoy the spectacle.
You experience them.
Those movies are they're experiences, they're spectacles. They got a little
They are
bit of
spectacles.
everything. They got romance, they got action, they got singing, they got dancing, they got
And sometimes they have it all in the span of like 10 minutes. They get like, it
Yeah.
got really sad. Oh, it's happy now again. Oh, now we're really sad again. Oh, now there's a gunfight. Oh,
or like
shit.
an
Now...
RRR, you have this big giant action spectacle that is greater than the climax of any movie you've ever seen, and an amazing thing happens, and then afterwards you're like, wow, that was amazing, and then you pause it and see that there's still an hour and a half
6
left.
hours left.
You're like, huh?
Hey,
Oh,
look,
you got a
raid.
raid. Carberfug. It's a fig.
I've never known how to pronounce his name.
How do you
Kinnear.
pronounce your name? Is that supposed to be Welsh?
Kinnear.
Kinnear?
Kinnear fig. Kinnear fig.
That is
Kinnear fig.
that is a Welsh name.
Well, thanks for the
Kinnear
raid, but we
fig.
are wrapping up
Kinnear
this
fig.
episode, and we are going to be heading out of here pretty soon. But I think
Oh,
before
get on
we
the
do,
raid train.
Luna, is there anything you'd like to plug before you get on out of here?
Plug. These headphones need to
stream.
be plugged in.
When
Oh,
you
right.
stream.
I'm a streamer. I'm a VTuber.
When, where?
Oh, shit. What's today? Today's Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I'm going to be streaming again. I'll be streaming more Big Brain. It'll be another Big Brain Luna night because I want to finish Chance of Sonar. It's a puzzle game.
What time?
We're having a good time with it. Probably 7:30 PST. So that's what I'm going to be doing. PTSD. Yep, that too.
PTSD from trying to get this fucking scheduled. Let me tell you what. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
right?
Look, it's
Well,
tough
thank
when
you.
we've got an East Coaster and a West Coaster trying to, but hey, we did it.
East Coast, West Coast, and
Hey,
Central.
we're
Time.
within a week of when we watched the movie, so we're
are.
good.
There you
We're
go.
good.
What about you guys? What's the next movie for you?
So I have 2 new guests lined up, but we're not sure which is gonna go first. So Bunny is gonna have us watching the movie Megamind.
Okay.
I love
And-
Megamind.
And Tora is going to have us watch the movie Girl Interrupted.
Oh my god. I love that movie.
Ooh. I've never
What?
seen either of them.
I like this is the entire point, right? Is that I'm an irredeemable cinephile. I love movies a lot, and I've watched a ton of movies in my lifetime, an inordinate amount of movies for a person my age. And Girl Interrupted is a really good movie, as is Steel Magnolias.
All
Oh,
right.
you're
then.
gonna...
But anyway, we're gonna call this episode wrapped up.
All right.
When it
Well, I'm
comes
glad-
to- when it comes
I'm
to
glad-
the movie, The Last Unicorn, it is no longer a missing movie.
Nope, it has been unmissed.
So, yeah, we will see you all. I don't know when the next one's gonna be because schedules are on. But everybody, have yourself a great night, and
Good night, everybody.
We'll see you all. Well, on Sunday for Sunday Dusk.
Sunday
with
Dusk,
Birdism.
yeah. Yep.
Hooray!
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank
you.
you.
Can wave.
Yeah,
We will wave. Yeah,
I can wave.
Cool can wave. Yeah.
I can wave.
I hate it here. It's evil and vile. Everything sucks. Why do I do this?
You got bentied. You got bentatoed.
Get peanut.
Get bentatoed.
I cannot get peanut to you.